Alright, let's get one thing straight before we dive in. This video contains massive, series-defining, soul-crushing spoilers. If you see an anime on this list that you haven't finished, maybe skip ahead or save this for later. You have been officially warned. Okay, let's get into the 10 anime plot twists that had us all screaming at our screens. Coming in at number 10, we have Attack on Titan and the basement reveal. For years, the entire fandom was obsessed with one question: what is in Aaron's basement? When we finally found out, it shattered everything we thought we knew. Humanity wasn't extinct outside the walls, far from it. The people inside the walls were a special race, the aliens who had been banished to Paratus Island by a powerful nation called Marley. And the Titans they'd been fighting and dying against for a century. They were their own people, forcibly transformed and sent to torment them. This single reveal didn't just add a new layer to the story. It flipped the entire board, changing who the heroes and villains truly were. At number 9, it's Code Geass and Lelouch's Zero Requiem. Throughout the second season, we watched as Lelouch, our brilliant anti-hero, seemed to spiral into pure tyranny. He became the world's most hated dictator, a symbol of absolute evil, crushing anyone who stood in his way. The ultimate gut punch. It was all an act. A meticulously crafted master plan. By becoming the sole focus of the world's hatred and then arranging for his best friend Suzaku, disguised as the masked hero Zero, to publicly assassinate him, he created a martyr. His death didn't signify his failure. It was his greatest triumph, uniting the entire world in a lasting peace. A sacrifice as brilliant as it was heartbreaking. Slipping into number 8 is the time gap from your name. Taki and Mitsuha's long-distance, body-swapping romance is one of the most charming stories you'll ever see, until the film pulls the rug right out from under you. We realize they aren't just separated by miles, but by 3 years in time. When Taki finally pieces this together and tries to find Mitsuha in her town, he makes a horrifying discovery. Her entire village, including her, was obliterated by a comet fragment 3 years ago. The story instantly shifts from a sweet romance to a desperate, heart-pounding race against time itself to save a girl who, in his timeline, is already gone. For number 7, we have to talk about Puella Mage I Madoka Magica and the Secret of the Soul Gems. At first, it looks like a standard, if a bit dark, magical girl show. The Soul Gems. Just a cool-looking power source, right? Wrong. The horrifying truth is that the Soul Gem asterisk is asterisk their soul, ripped from their bodies upon making their contract. Their physical bodies are nothing more than empty shells, puppets that can be remotely controlled and repaired. And the ultimate despair. When a soul gem gets tainted, the magical girl doesn't just die. She transforms into the very monster she was created to fight, a witch. It's a terrifying, cyclical nightmare they can't escape. At number 6 is Death Note and LS Final Gambit. Hell, the world's greatest detective was the only person who could truly challenge Light Yagami? In a shocking move, Light masterfully manipulates the Shinigami Rem into killing L to protect Misa. We watch L die, his longtime assistant Watari falls with him, and for a moment, it feels like Light has won. Absolute victory, but L was always 10 steps ahead. Even in death, he had a contingency plan. He had already groomed and established his successors, the prodigies Mello and Nier, ensuring that the investigation would continue. His death wasn't the end of the game, it was just another calculated move on the board. Cracking our top 5 is The Promised Neverland and The Truth of Gracefield House. Emma, Norman, and Ray live what seems to be a perfect life in a happy orphanage, surrounded by their siblings and cared for by their loving mom. The illusion shatters when they try to return a forgotten stuffed animal to a friend who was just adopted. They stumble upon a horrifying secret. Gracefield House isn't an orphanage. It's a farm. The children are not orphans waiting for a family. They are premium-grade livestock being raised to be eaten by demons. Their beloved mom is their farmer. In one terrifying moment, their idyllic world becomes a high-stakes prison, and their only goal is escape. Our number for Spot goes to Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, and the nationwide Transmutation Circle. The entire history of the nation of Amastris is a lie, built on a foundation of carefully orchestrated bloodshed. For centuries, every major war, every border skirmish, every rebellion was secretly engineered by the homunculi and their creator, Father, and the reason why, to create a massive, countrywide transmutation circle. The crests of blood, the symbols of death from each major conflict, were the points on the circle. The ultimate, horrifying goal was to sacrifice the entire population of Amastris in a single moment to create a perfect Philosopher's Stone for Father. At number 3, we have Stein's Gate and Mayuri's unavoidable death. After Okabe Rintaro accidentally stumbles upon a way to send messages to the past, he finds himself trapped in a tragic, repeating nightmare. No matter what he does, no matter how many times he leaps back through time, his sweet, innocent childhood friend Mayuri always dies on the same day, around the same time. Her death is a fixed point, a convergence event in the timeline. The real twist isn't just that she dies, but why she dies. Her death is the universe's way of course-correcting because in the original timeline he had saved someone else, Kurisu Makis. He's faced with an impossible choice between the two people he cares about most. The runner-up at number 2 is Neon Genesis Evangelion and the Human Instrumentality Project. For the entire series, we're led to believe that NERV, led by Gendo Ikari, is humanity's last defense against the monstrous angels. The shocking twist is that their true goal, the Human Instrumentality Project, was never to save humanity, but to end it. Zella and Gendo's secret plan was to initiate a forced evolution, merging all of humanity into a single, collective consciousness. An existence without individuality, without pain, and without loneliness. The fight to save the world was actually a secret plot to dissolve it, leaving the fate of every human soul in the hands of a traumatized teenager. And finally, our number 1 mind-blowing plot twist is from Read Zero, with Subaru's return by death. We watch the first episode through Subaru's eyes as he's suddenly transported to a fantasy world. He's your typical isekai protagonist. He meets a beautiful girl, Amelia, decides to be her hero, and then they're both brutally murdered in a back alley. End of story, right? Nope. He snaps awake, right back at the Apple stand where his day began. The twist is that his unique ability, Return by Death, isn't some cool video game power. It's an unimaginable curse. He retains the full physical and psychological trauma of every single agonizing death and is forced to relive his failures over and over until he can find a path to survival, all while being unable to tell anyone about his power. It has a twist that establishes the series' true tone of psychological horror from the very first episode. And that's a wrap on 10 anime twists that left our jaws on the floor for weeks. Which ones did we miss? What's a twist that completely blew your mind? Let us know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of anime. We'll see you in the next one.